People in my neurodiversity guest groups have been bringing up this podcast series, the Telepathy Tapes, a lot lately, probably because it was on Joe Rogan. But it's really interesting. So what it's saying is that neurodiverse people who are on the autism spectrum, and I believe that mental health conditions are also a form of neurodiversity, are able to telepathically communicate. And there's been these scientific studies that have verified that they can communicate with their parents, they can read people's minds. But what they said is that you can only do that if you're completely honest, that being dishonest would stop that superpower. And people who are able to access these other dimensions of mind, they can meet together. They meet on this place called the Hill. There's these gatherings of these sort of spirits. And it makes me think that maybe that's what happened in the Garden of Eden. In this higher dimension, in this meeting place, we were able to walk every day in the garden with God because we were completely authentic and honest and real. And as soon as we wanted to conceal something, as soon as we were shameful about having eaten of the fruit, that's when we hid. And maybe we erected these structures in our mind to protect ourselves, to hide ourselves behind these things. But what they did was stop us from accessing that higher dimension. Does this give a whole new flavor to why there's the virtues? Why should we be honest and good and true and not have an ego, not be prideful, not be filled with lust? Why should we not be aggressive and violent? Maybe it's not just because that's the right thing to do, but because those things erect structures which stop us from accessing the pure power, the higher dimensional, multi-dimensional faculties of the human mind and soul that we could have access to. We can train the neurodiverse in the virtues, bringing an ancient modality back into fresh clothing to give us the ability to connect with others and to connect with the world and to connect with God in these fresh ways. Is that why kids might have access to these abilities? Pretty sure my two daughters had psychic abilities and they still do, because they're open. They aren't these pretenses, they aren't these walls. And so as we socialize them into developing these egos are the things which erect the walls and stop them from accessing the connectivity and the meaning and the purpose and the bliss that they would have had before. And is this why people after near-death experiences and situations like that, where their ego dissolves, they come back with these connectivities and these telepathic and prophetic abilities that they didn't have before? Sometimes they came back with the ability to play classical piano or speak Chinese, which they could never do before. What are we preventing ourselves from accessing by trying to do things our way, by trying to tell a story, a lie, a fictitious story? And is authenticity the answer to all that?